this video, we are going to take a look at possibly the final configuration for my Glock 43x MOS build, which is over 2 years in the making and 5 variations later. I've tried various mags, optics, barrels, holsters, and compensators, but in this video we are going to look at both the things that have never changed and I've loved from the beginning, as well as some of the things that I've updated as I've built from version 1 to where it is now. Make sure you check out the website for dates to the next month's range day, links below for that. And while you're at it, the best way to support the channel is by becoming a member of the kit page, where I provide discount codes and organize all of the links to everything that I talk about on the channel. Huge thank you to the sponsors of the channel, TA Targets, one of the best metal target manufacturers out there. They make fantastic and innovative products. And of course, Optics Planet. Use code GMEN at checkout or use the better code on the kit page. Full disclosure for you, many of the parts I'm reviewing I got for free, and despite what some people say, whether I got them for free or not, it won't change anything that I say about them. I am here to relay information to the best of my ability with honesty so you can make a better purchasing decision. The kit page will tell you where I got everything, so with that, let's get into the build. Starting with the base, we have the Glock 43x MOS. All these springs, bars, detents, including the firing pin and plunger assembly, are all OEM. I do my best to not touch any of those things. My personal recommendation is to do the same. Unless you're willing to spend quite a bit more money for some quality upgrades, I really wouldn't recommend anything outside of Johnny Glocks. Anyway, on this build, for the most part, I decided to go OEM, and for the foreseeable future, I really can't see myself changing any of those things out. The only parts of the build I changed that are outside of the scope of what I would consider to be minor accessories are the barrel, which I've switched from OEM to a threaded version from Silencer Co. And I've run this barrel for years now with no trouble. Huge fan, I can definitely recommend it. The trigger shoe, which is from Train with Purpose Official. I've talked about these guys a lot, but this is one of my favorite upgrades under $100. I personally think it improves just about every aspect of the OEM trigger without the compromise of reliability. I have never had any issues with these. Also, their site was down for a little bit for those of you who are asking, but it's now back up and running, and if you need links to anything, just check the kit. The last two changes would be to the mag release button, which I had to switch to metal in order to run Shield Mag's metal 15 round mags, and I'm going to talk about those in a second. And the slide lock lever is the last one, which is a minor upgrade that makes a huge difference in my opinion. Absolutely worth it as an under $30 upgrade. Back to the S15 mags, I've been all over the place with these mags, but only one thing has stayed consistently true, and that is the Gen 2 mags have never failed me. I've shot thousands of rounds through them and they have done amazing, so yes, I trust them and do carry them. Funny enough, for this intro, I also brought out my Gen 3 mags just to see if I would run into any issues, and I had none. So I may need to revisit those just in case the recent changes I made allow for the Gen 3s to run perfectly reliable as well, so stay tuned for that. Running through the last couple upgrades, we have the Katana magwell, which is by far my favorite magwell for the 43x MOS. Never had any issues with these, they're amazing. Then there's the rubber talon grip with a layer of goon tape for the vibes. The TLR7 sub, which is a fantastic light for the setup, and attached to it is the new upgrade, which is Antimatter's wing. Basically a concealable, aesthetically pleasing gas pedal, and I am a huge fan of this thing so far. Up top we have a Harrington Arms universal comp, which threads on without any need for locking screws. I'm a huge fan of this design. It basically tightens up via a rubber washer, and I shot a couple hundred rounds and got the barrel pretty hot without any issues at all, so huge props to Harrington Arms for making this thing. It's awesome. The sights I've run for years now are from Night Vision. I switched back to the lower thirds co-witness height for a direct mounted optic, and I've loved these sights. No issues with them at all. And the red dot that I've been running for the last little bit is the 6MOA SIG Romeo X Compact with the enclosed housing, and so far this red dot has been phenomenal. In regards to red dots, I've tried the original Holosun 507K, which I loved. Then I moved to the EPS Carry, which I also loved, and I would say is one of my top and best compact red dots I've ever used. After which I tried the Trijicon Arm RCC with it being mounted via a forward controls plate, and it was just a little too tall for me, all while not giving me exactly the features that I cared about, like the battery door being accessible and the locking reticle option, which the EPS Carry has both of those. And for the last little bit, I've been running the Romeo X Compact, and I would say I'm stuck between loving this and the EPS Carry. The EPS does still have one feature feature that I wish the Romeo X had, and that's the option to lock the reticle on the brightness setting you want it to stay at. I haven't had any issues with changing brightnesses on me, but I don't even like having that be an option, so SIG, if you can add that feature, you'll make a lot of people happy. So if you're in between the EPS and the enclosed X Compact, I think they are both solid options. I might give the win to the EPS only because it's a little more feature filled, but the X is a close second for its build quality and features. The last thing before I cover a couple other important parts of the build is what is the best way to carry a setup like this. And in my opinion, Tier 1 concealed still makes the best appendix conceal carry holster on the market. Though I did have to make some of my own modifications in order to run the comp, they are still one of the best out there. On most of my appendix carry setups, I always try to get the Ulti clips, which allow me to carry with a variety of pants, both with and without a belt, which is nice. And I just personally prefer the metal clips over the plastic ones most holsters come with. In order to run the comp, it was a fairly simple mod to the holster. They do have the option to have a threaded barrel, and this is what it used to look like. Unfortunately, they do close the barrel off, which removes the ability to run a comp. So I took a saw and cut down until the bottom of the base here, and then I cut across and removed the whole threaded barrel mold together. After a little bit of sanding, I can easily run the Harrington Arms comp, and it all fits well without any issues at all. Along with things fitting, I was worried that adding the antimatter wing was going to cause some fitment issues inside the holster, but to my surprise, it fit really well. It was definitely tight at first, but as I've used it, it's loosened up enough that it's easy to draw when needed. So that was a really cool thing that I'm glad worked out without any modifications. A lot of people have been asking me why I don't run the arc slide anymore, and to them I say I do. It's just on a completely different build. So yes, I still love the arc slide. I think it's awesome, but I don't carry it on a daily basis. I do personally just prefer the OEM slide and assembly for my carry gun. I do want to go over what ammo I use and why. I've been carrying Spear Gold Dot for years now, and I carry this in particular because it's an extremely effective and reliable round for stopping bad guys. It's also the choice of my local LE, and I've heard it's best to run the same stuff that they do in order to reduce scrutiny in the case that you actually need to use your firearm in a self-defense situation. Trust me, it just won't look good for you in court if you're using a round called the Death Whisperer or something like that. So just play it safe and run what your local department does. I will also say, yes, it is important to run specific defense rounds over FMJs. One of the main reasons being, like I said before, over penetration, which is way more likely with a round that doesn't expand on impact. I would highly recommend you have specific carry mags with defense rounds and then train all you want with FMJs. Don't mix them and carry good high quality ammo. Now, why is this possibly the final configuration, what I would call the ultimate Glock 43x MOS? I would say after all the variations, all the testing, and all the changes, this is the smoothest, flattest, and most robust variation that I've found so far. All of the parts work very well together, and I would almost say it's the perfect conceal carry setup. Despite though its perfections, if you don't know how to use it to the best of your abilities, it doesn't really matter how many upgrades you make to your builds. Training is an essential part of firearm ownership, and I really hope that people take it more seriously. I am so grateful for the guys and girls who make it out to the range days I'm able to host, and it makes me so happy to see people of all skill levels improving and having a good time at the range. The protection of innocent life is the goal, and the training is the means to get there. Make sure you check the website for dates to attend the next range day. As always, more to come. I will see you in the next one.